With over 20,000 investing books in the Kindle store alone, how do you find the best that are going to help you make more money? In this video, I'll share feedback from the community on their top investing books. Then I'll reveal 5 best investing books every investor must read and give you a summary of each. We're talking the best books on investing today on Let's Talk Money. Beat debt, make money, make your money work, creating the financial future you deserve. Let's Talk Money. Hey Bowtie Nation, Joseph Hogue with the Let's Talk Money channel here on YouTube. I want to send a special shout out to everyone in the nation. Thank you for spending a part of your day to be here. If you're not part of that community yet, just click that little red subscribe button. It's free and you'll never miss an episode. And welcome to another episode of Ask the Bowtie Nation. I'm loving the series here. We're posting one of your questions in our Facebook group, Let's Talk Money Together, and getting some great answers from everyone in the nation. I'll leave a link to the Facebook group in the description below, or just you can go to Facebook and search for the Let's Talk Money Together group. Today's question comes from Dominique asking which books I'd recommend as a supplement to the channel. I love that Dominique is looking for more ways to learn about investing, so I wanted to get your feedback in the nation and add a few ideas of my own. So first we'll look at some of the book ideas that we got in that Facebook group. Then I'll share the 5 best investing books I think every investor must read. I'll give you a quick best of summary for each book and then include links in the video description below. So if we look at the group feedback from the nation, we see a couple of votes here for this Rule 1 Investing by Phil Town. This was recommended by GE and Bobby. Now GE also recommends The Little Book That Still Beats the Market and The Little Book of Value Investing, both part of a series. They're a little more of that stock picking and that market timing idea and a little pricey, but definitely good books. John here recommends The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins, and this is a great book for that idea of that overall personal finance. I've got another recommendation for that wealth building in my 5 books, but this is a solid book right here. Here, Disman Elijah recommends The Winning Investment Habits of Buffett and Soros by Mark Tier, and I actually haven't read this one, but I might put it on my list now. So all great recommendations, and now I want to add a few of my own. I've read all 5 of these finance books, and they've each taught me something invaluable. Honestly, Nation, this is the best investment you can make with your time and your money. I'll review each of these books and give you a little summary, but put at least a few of these on your list. Commit to really taking in the information, and they will change your life. Our first here is The Bible for Investors, The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham and reviewed by Jason Zweig. I've read this book 3 times, and every single time I reread it, I pick up something else or I'm reminded of a critical rule of investing. You see, long before Warren Buffett, Benjamin Graham was the father of value investing. In fact, Graham taught Buffett in a class at Columbia Business School. In the book, Graham details 6 key principles of intelligent investing. And the first here is just to know the business you're investing in. Now, the problem with this is much more than just liking a company's products. Liking Campbell's Chunky Chicken Soup isn't enough to know that the company has a strong brand or market position. You need to be actually digging into the financial statements and the reports on a company. This means understanding how much market share it has against its competitors and why. It means knowing the trends in the industry and where costs are going. This is why most professional analysts, Wall Street analysts, only cover one sector or even a handful of stocks because you really need that deep knowledge into a company and its industry. Next here, know who runs the business. Now, this was the single biggest factor when I worked as a venture capital analyst. It could be a great product, but if the startup founders didn't have what it took to take the company to the next level, we weren't going to be investing, not a single dime. Now, for larger companies, I like to look at a company's management training programs. How well does it train and nurture its talent from within? I also like to use the operating margin. So from the income statement, that's the operating income divided by sales or total revenue. And this profitability number gives you a great picture of how well management is running the company, keeping costs down and getting more from those sales. The next rule here, invest for profits over time, not a quick return. Now, this one rule will make you more money than all the stock picking combined. Invest in good companies that are going to produce those successively higher profits and just hold on no matter what. Our next rule, understand the fundamental value of a stock. This one is a little harder because I don't think most investors really understand what truly goes on to a fundamental analysis of a stock. Now, you can talk about the PE ratio or the operating margin, but that's just not enough. Real fundamental analysis is done through building a financial model of the company, being able to forecast those profits and understanding how the finances stack up against its competitors. The book does a pretty good job of most of this, but my last book recommendation is really going to take this fundamental analysis to the next level. Graham also suggests investing with a margin of safety. This one is about understanding the risk in an investment and how it fits with your portfolio. So you're not only analyzing the risk in a stock, but also how it adds or detracts from that overall risk in your portfolio. Next here, have the confidence in your own analysis and just avoid the panics. This is really where Buffett says, be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. If you've invested in strong companies and followed these other rules, then you'll have no reason to panic when the stock market crash hits. That confidence helps you avoid the worst investing decisions that people make in a crash and actually take advantage of those lower prices. Next here is that all-around personal finance book that I talked about, The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley. Nation, there are actually 18.6 million millionaires in the United States alone and almost 50 million across the globe. Far from the popular idea of some tech geek with a Lamborghini and a flashy watch, the book surveyed over 700 millionaires to show you how they really manage their money. The book breaks down the 7 basic factors they found in this survey of millionaires. 7 rules for being rich. Now, first is that millionaires just live within their means. They aren't putting on that credit card debt to keep up with the Joneses. They use their time to build more wealth. Your average millionaire isn't watching 3 hours of The Simpsons reruns every night. They're reading, they're in their mastermind groups of other entrepreneurs and talking about ideas. Also, the average millionaire has a different perspective on financial independence. Instead of the idea of relaxing on a yacht, they're driving around in the same car as you and me. Another factor here, most of the millionaires weren't born with a silver spoon up their ass, and their parents didn't give them a handout. They use the same rule for their own kids. They're not financially supporting their adult children, instead making them earn it on their own. The rich learn how to spot opportunities to build that wealth. They're watching the business environment and the trends to see which types of businesses are doing well and which they can start. Even the ones that aren't those serial entrepreneurs, though, they're picking the right occupation. They're not getting stuck in some industry or a job with no future. They're going after the opportunities that they can grow in and rise to the top. So it's not necessarily an investing book, but I would definitely put this one on the top 3 must-reads. Not only does it give you some step-by-step guidance, but it's also going to give you that perspective that you need and what being rich really looks like. Next here is another one of the most popular investing books around, The Bogleheads Guide to Investing by Larimore, Lindauer, LeBoeuf, and forwarded by Jack Bogle himself. Now, Bogleheads is one of the best books for a simple, stress-free investing plan. It's modeled after the advice of Jack Bogle, founder of Vanguard Funds, and the vast majority of this book is really just spent on getting you ready to invest. So we're talking understanding your goals rather than picking stocks. And in fact, the extent of the stock investing talked about in the book is mostly through mutual funds and other funds, ETFs. So instead of picking stocks, you're investing in just a few funds that are going to be the core of your set it and forget it portfolio. Now, the one disagreement I do have with this book is the approval of those mutual funds, which I think are about the worst investing decisions you can make. Now, don't get me wrong, mutual funds were great back in the 60s when you had no other choice. They gave regular people an easy way to invest into a group of stocks and not have to watch the stock market. But now with the creation of exchange-traded funds, that's ETFs, mutual funds are just an overpriced, inefficient, and really misleading way to invest. Compared to ETFs, which are also those groups of stocks, mutual funds cost you 2 or 3 times as much in fees. They cost more in taxes and a lot of times come with just advisor commissions that are going to rob you blind. Now, beyond that, though, the book is probably the best you can read for investors that just want that simple approach. If you want to just put your money into the market, never have to look at stocks at all, this one is going to show you how to do exactly that. This next one is a great beginner's guide to investing, A Random Walk Down Wall Street by Burton Malkiel. I went back and forth on whether to include this one. I don't think it's as actionable as the others. For example, it doesn't really lay out a simple step-by-step like Bogleheads, and it's not going to teach you stock analysis like the next pick in the list. But it is a really good book for understanding the market, the stock market itself. Basically, Random Walk tries to prove that stock prices reflect what we already know and what we can know about a company. Now, if that's true, and he does a pretty good job of proving this in the book, then there's a lot of investing strategies that are really just a waste of time and money. The book covers some of these like technical analysis and fundamental analysis. Now, he lays out some of the behavioral biases that cause investors to make those bad investing decisions, which was really an interesting chapter, but a little hard to apply. Honestly, though, the biggest reason I read the book was for those chapters on stock market bubbles. He spends 3 chapters giving you kind of a history of bubbles, from tulip mania in the 17th century to the internet bubble of the 90s, and it's a great view of how these things happen in cycles. Now, I want to include one last book for the hardcore investors out there, Financial Modeling by Simon Benninga. So if you're serious about picking stocks, and this is kind of a dare because the book is a monster, you absolutely have to read through this one. So Simon Benninga was a director of the MBA program at Tel Aviv University, and for many years a visiting professor at the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. Now, he first published Financial Modeling in 1997, and it immediately became the required reading for Wall Street analysts. Now, this one isn't so much a book you read like the others, but a workbook that's going to teach you exactly how professional stock analysts determine their stock picks. More than that, though, you'll start with basically everything that they're going to teach you in a corporate finance in a 4-year degree. The first 100 pages are all this basic finance calculations and the cost of capital for a company. Then you'll dig right into how to create a financial model for a company, including examples. This is all about being able to read a company's financial statements like a pro, understand exactly what it says, and then put a value on any stock out there. The book walks you through options pricing, bonds, really everything that a professional analyst is going to use in terms of calculation and analysis. Now, this one is a little harder to summarize, though, because it's just so much process, so much a step-by-step to building that investment analysis. The 4th edition was updated in 2014, and it comes with a CD to walk you through all the analysis and the spreadsheets. I've got the 3rd edition from 2008, required reading for the job when I was working as a freelance analyst, and I'd say you can get probably 99% of what you need from one of these older editions. The most recent edition, the new ones can be a little expensive, so this one, maybe look for a copy on eBay, or just as long as you get that CD, you'll have everything you need. Click through to the playlist on the right for the investing questions every investor must ask. Questions like how many stocks should I own and how to start investing, all answered right here in this playlist. Don't forget to join the Let's Talk Money community by tapping that subscribe button and clicking the bell notification.